Hey everyone, how you doing out there?
Hello. Don't mind me, I'm eating.
Okay, so we were busy chatting, lost track of time. We were 3 minutes late. The only thing that reminded me, YouTube put up a warning says Facebook says you have to go live in the next couple of minutes or they'll cancel it on their side. So, so let's do a quick roll call, see who all is here and how many are still here. Well, Evil Twin was in here first thing over an hour, almost 2 hours ago. Varnish Mix came in at 4:30. Of course, Ron's here. Cecilia's been in here. O'Donnell's Aussie Homestead. Greetings from down there in Australia. Bedtime Stories of Charles. And we're chit-chatting back and forth there. Lori Jean's here. Getting caught up here. Michael 58 is here. Let's see. Brastard 7.62 is here. Yeah, Sand Hollow. Hey, Butch. Jacobs is here. And Old School Prepper. All righty. So, guys, a little shout out here. Old School Prepper just put out a video about her onions and stuff. I haven't had a chance to see it. It's queued up for my next one to view. Dave was watching it, said it's absolutely gorgeous, and her soil is something to envy. So, there we go. So, tonight we have the one and only Green Wizard.
Hi, everybody.
And so hopefully we'll all learn something. And most importantly, from what we learned, everybody will go out and buy the Green Wizard's Guide if you don't have it. It is a phenomenal book. I'm on my second time through it this week. I mean, it's just I learned so much the first time, and I said, okay, I know I missed someone back, and sure enough, I missed stuff. I'm picking it up the second time through. It is packed full of good information, and it's a fun read too. All righty. Oh, 320 Homestead. Hey, how's it going? So, guys.
Now, anytime while you were reading that book, did you get the impression that I was anti-Christian or trying to get anybody into the black arts?
No.
All right.
I got the sense you have a unique sense of humor I like.
A little bit. Yeah, I've gotten a little bit of feedback over using the name Wizard and casting spells and all of that. Please, everybody understand that is all just in fun. It makes the book funny in some weird, quirky ways.
Oh yeah, the one spell. Let's see if I can find it real quick. The last one I just read about. Shoot. Oh, here it is. Use spell number 493. Quote. Break them up your own damn self. Unquote. And if that spell doesn't work, find someone in your household who's playing video games to do it for you.
There you go.
I mean, that is totally not serious. I mean, that is a total, it's sarcasm there on spells and stuff. Like spells actually going to work to rake leaves up. I loved it. Oh, you got 4 inches of snow again, Lori?
Oh, I wish. I wish.
Snowed
but then again, I've been cutting grass now for almost 3 weeks.
Man.
Hey, Fishing and Loves Life. Welcome.
Hey, Fishes and Loves. Hey, Blue Healer's in here too.
So we dealt with some squirrel issues and hanging old CDs to try and give them flashes and something moving to kind of spook them all off. We did that earlier in chat. Any questions? Just open that up and please put it in caps so that we catch it. Because as we get going, sometimes everybody makes mistakes when you're live streaming. It just happens.
There was something I want to talk to you about from the book. You're talking about using corn gluten.
Yes.
And I found this cool informational website on it. It's oreganolawn.com. And they're going through it and, quoting a bunch of the same stuff you were saying, but then they go into about the two different types of corn gluten that you can get the seeds, the little granulars. One is held together with sugar and breaks down under the first rain or watering.
Right.
The other one is held together with starch, which can take 4 or 5 rains or 4 or 5 days of watering to get it to start breaking down.
Right. But your feed store will not give you starch to be used in this way or in this manner.
Mm-hmm.
They won't even give it to you for feed. So that one's not going to be available to you.
Okay.
And that's why I listed the names of the actual companies, the actual names you'll find it of in the big box stores right in the book.
Yeah.
But your best place to go, your best resource for 90% of this stuff that's in this book is directly to your feed store.
Yeah, and that we have one about less than a mile away.
Oh, then you're perfectly set.
I was going to try to get down there today, but I got so busy and they closed at noon today. The next thing I know is 12:15. It's like, dang it.
Right.
But
day's over before you turn around.
Yeah. I had a plan to deal with though. We got several wheat grinders and one is really adjustable for how fine you want it. I was going to put it out so all the granules go through. All we do is just like crack them in half is all.
But wouldn't hurt. It's just going to help break it down that much faster.
Yeah. So that was one I think I was going to try for that. And yeah, any questions here? Anybody have any questions for Ron?
Oh, you might be surprised, Cecile. You might be surprised. They call them different things in different areas. But yeah, the feed stores are everywhere. They're just called different things. Here in Ohio, it's called the feed store.
Here it's called the grain mill.
See, so you're going to find it under different names, but they have all the same resources.
All right. Back in California, where my wife is still at, we're in the county seat, Martinez City, bedroom community, right next to Concord, one of the biggest cities in the county. It has 2 feed stores there in Concord. And then out on the far side is city of Clayton, and they got tack shops, and they carry the same stuff out there too.
Oh, okay.
So you just, if you look around, you can find, you may not think your city has it, but you'd be surprised what they have. Like the Concord Feed and Fuel was the original name. Now it's Concord Feed and Pet. But they even have koi fish and stuff like that. Big supplies, bales of hay, straw, everything you need. Everything for your horses, dogs, cats, anything. And they're in a city.
Right.
So,
well, and like Cecile's saying, where she's at, they're barren of everything. But that's why I listed in the book all the different names that corn gluten can be found under in big box stores.
Yeah.
So you can find it. It's available. They've got to do something with the gluten. They're pulling it out of everything so that the yuppies and what have you are eating gluten free, but the gluten's going somewhere. And it is the perfect weed and feed.
Yeah. I found some at the both at Lowe's and Home Depot here in Idaho Falls, but the biggest bag they had was a 10-pound bag. Expensive.
Wait till you get to the feed store. You'll find 25-pound and 50-pound bags for the same money.
Yeah. And there was something I did find that is Lily Miller, and they've kind of combined with another company. They have an organic, it's a 12-pound bag that pre-emergent that I looked on it, and there's the thing. corn gluten, one of the main items on it.
Right. But what other chemicals were in there?
I'm
See,
not sure.
that's my fear.
Yeah.
That's the issue. We're trying to get, and the whole point of the Green Wizard's Guide is to get us off the glyphosates, get us away from the oils, get us away from the chemicals, and get our soils back. Get us back to top soil, 40 feet deep, like it is in nature, not where man has been messing with it continually in the farms, the gardens, what have you, in our yards. Just by driving a car by, and the exhaust from the car is doing damage to your yard and doing damage to the soil conditions.
Yeah. Hey, J&C's Oregon Homestead.
Oh, absolutely, fishing and loving. Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I'm not knocking it. It's just, for all that they're doing for everybody, they're not going to throw products away, is my point. These things are available. They're out there.
Yeah.
Hey, North Star.
Hey, Kathy. So this here is the link that I found the added information on. And I swear they copied some of this directly out of your book.
Huh.
But yeah. Oh, an interesting thing is he talks about on this site, the guy doing it had was talking about people not putting the corn gluten meal on heavy enough.
Right.
They put it on too light, and it's
well,
like
it'll take care of the surface seeds.
Yeah.
So, like in the fall, when dandelions are producing their seed spores, or when hay fever kicks in, you can just put a light misting over top of your yard and wipe out those seeds. But when we're talking about doing the heavy duty weed and feed, yeah, you need to put it on heavy to the point that it's showing up on your shoes as you're walking around.
Yeah. They said you need to put 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet to really, for the first year, to really just knock the seeds in the jaw.
Right. It'll do about 90% damage to all the seeds that are currently available in your topsoil, your soil, and your dirt. It's not going to penetrate the clay. That's the point we're trying to get across. We've got to get back to the clay and get that turned back into the topsoil that it's meant to be.
Yeah. And just to make sure, gonna throw.
Hey, Big Dream Homestead.
All right, so guys, you can go to Amazon to get the Green Wizard's Guide, Kindle version for $7.95 or the paperback for $13.95.
And they are shipping it. Somebody received a copy yesterday.
Yeah, and like I said, I have it here on my.
Walmart is now offering it on their online store.
I'm reading it right now, second time through on my Kindle. And now, for those that are interested and are trying, because I've noticed in several of the chats on and several videos that people are trying to do planter gardens because they have limited space, and some are getting those like at Home Depot. They have the 20-gallon barrels, pots. What do you want? I call them barrels because they're so big, and they're actually plastic made to look like a barrel.
Right.
What are your recommendations for someone setting up one of those? Anything, if they're all right, most likely they're probably going to end up having to buy some of the amendments on the soil, like the potting mixes and stuff. Any particular potting mix to stay clear of?
All of them.
All of them.
Go to your local. Maybe landscaping company that makes topsoil. It's going to be the most from your area and not potentially hazardous, bringing in products from other areas. Mm-hmm. So go to them for your topsoils, or your planting soils. Let's call it that. You're going to want to make sure you have correct drainage. Make sure there's holes in the bottom of it. put in lava rock or something porous so that it maintains its water levels, and cover that, believe it or not, either in manure or leaves, so that you have materials that are going to break down and feed the food web. That food web is extremely important when it comes to feeding your plants. If it's not active, you're not going to get the healthiest possible. And as soon as it is active, your plants double in size. You'll know you're doing the right thing. You'll get the little white moss growing, and the soil will be nice and dark and rich. You can even add worms to those 20-gallon pots and allow them to help keep that entire thing going. Worm castings are incredible as long as you've got the stuff in there to keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things this current events is screwing up here is that in another month, the farmer's market was supposed to open up, and there's a company that has a booth there. They sell 5, 10, and 50-pound bags of worm castings.
There you go. There you go. Can't pass them up. I mean,
yeah,
they've got everything in them. It's amazing what worms will process.
Yeah, unfortunately, they've already announced that they're going to be postponing opening the farmer's market until a to be determined date.
Oh, bummer. It's going to be a bad year for a lot of people.
Yeah. But
we're going to be running out of food, everybody. If you don't garden, you're really going to want to do it this year because we're going to run out of food.
Yeah.
They're already, Florida is announcing that they're turning gardeners away. Their food is testing contaminated. I don't know what processes they're using to test it, but they're throwing away entire farms worth of food because the what ifs from the virus, whether it was the pickers, the packers, or whatever the case may be, this virus is something terrible. You're going to have to start looking elsewhere to find food.
Yeah, I posted on the Discord channel last night from, sadly, mainstream media, but they are actually starting to announce that it may become a severe issue. So, yeah, that's something Gil and I mentioned back in the latter part of February. Well, I mentioned it. Gil kept quiet because he didn't want to stick his neck out there. So stick your neck out there, Gil.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah, it's something we warned everybody about, that and there are truck stops that are closing. Pennsylvania truck stops are closed because
where is it?
Risk. So there is going to be feuding, possibly, as well as food issues by August, if not sooner.
Yeah. All right, Cecilia. Kathy put up the answer here. I guess Home Depot is selling worm castings. Amazon has it as well. So there are places you can order them.
Remember, she's in Canada, so using U.S.
Yeah, you'll have to go check your Canadian Amazon and check, like if that Yunco Industries, has it up there. You also may find just Google it, see who has. You may find some local farmers not too far out that have it, where you could, take a drive out there and get it. Now, what I've been yesterday, I picked up a trailer load of rabbit and chicken poo from my neighbor here. I mean, this stuff's been sitting on the ground percolating for 2 years. So he took half of it and turned it into his garden. And he said he had, which means he had too much. He wanted me to get rid of it. He goes, "Can you take this? I got too much." So I loaded up my 10 by 6 trailer full and brought it over here. But he and one of my other neighbors, the one that, if you watch any of my previous videos that from the summer, whose kid was out there with the bottom plow turning over my one field. And let me put this up here. So, and let me pull this down. This is an overview of my place in Idaho. From here over, this is 2.5 acres on this side here. And so we've been working to get this all leveled back out where it's usable. You see the dead spots here. Let me go. Dead spots here and here. That and along here was it was just so beat down by the horses, it wasn't producing. So we're getting the local dairy to bring in several truckloads of manure. We're going to turn it over and stuff. But
Ask
they've asked,
them for milk.
yeah,
Spray the field down in milk.
yeah. We'll see if there's anything that they have to do that with too.
Yeah, anything they're discarding, and milk is tremendous in the food web.
Yeah. So, but they were asking if, because I've been trying to kill all the weeds out here by disking constantly, raking, mowing, trying to keep the weeds from populating. They go, all right, we'll help you finish up you disc it and everything else, but can we turn it into a community garden? And I'm like, fine with me. It keeps the weeds down and keeps the weeds off the other half of the property. So this on the right hand side of the screen, that 2.5 acres is what they want to do that with. And so if checking your neighborhoods, there may be people wanting to do community gardens. It's a way to get food. And so we're working on a plan to turn this into a community garden, divide it up into plots for people. And I got this line coming through the middle here. This is the irrigation canal. Well, actually, I changed it. Now it goes straight through and cuts over. So we can irrigate it 2 days a week, all we can want. So that's what we're doing here to help alleviate the food problem in our community, especially we have a lot of elderly people here in our community here. All right, Jerry.
Well, everything else grows. I mean,
I don't have problem with growing facial hair. I'm having to mow. I'm having to mow it twice a day, just like you're having to mow your yard twice a day, Jerry.
Yeah, but at least I don't think you'll destroy as many razors as he has lawnmowers.
This might be true. This might be true. Well, his work schedule had him away. There was nothing he could do. She applied the system to the yard, and I don't know to what extent yet. I still haven't had a chance to talk to her. And what he came back to, just it's devastating when you aren't out there and able to stay on top of it. Your yard just explodes in weeks under this system, and it got away from him.
Yeah, and there it is, the Green Wizard's Guide. I mean, like I said, I've read it through it once. I'm halfway through the second time, and probably next week I'll probably go through a third time. I've decided to start taking notes, folks.
Well, that's what the blank pages are for.
Well, I'm in the Kindle though. I got the Kindle version.
Oh, right. Yeah, so you missed out on some of that. Well, Again, page 59 is a blank page in the book. Well, you'll find the recipe that you need for the weeds on my YouTube channel, labeled page 59, update. And it gives you a direct recipe as to how to address weeds individually.
Yeah.
Okay. The question was asked, what do I recommend as a fertilizer when you can't get the stuff from the store? Your kitchen waste is tremendous as a fertilizer. Clover, if you can find clover in your yard and slowly pull that up, you're going to find crystals in the yard, in the soil. Those are nitrogen pellets. You want clover growing in your garden. Basically what you want to do is you want to consider, a small bucket, as I call it, just a hole in your garden on the high side where things would run off, and start throwing your kitchen waste in there and start bringing that back up. Look at your leaves as fertilizers. Look at your ashes from little fires that you may have burning up twigs in the yard. All of these things can feed the garden and feed the food web. I mean, we should be throwing away barely a third of what we currently throw away in the United States, because all the rest of it is biodegradable food mass and can go directly into our gardens, directly into our flower beds, directly into compost piles, and turn out incredible amendments to our soils. All you're looking to do though is avoid citrus. If you're going directly feed into your compost piles and into your garden, no citrus. Just keep the acids out. They don't help the worms in any way, shape, or form, or help the food web.
What was there was something else that my wife was making comment about the worms, about not putting it into the compost pile and stuff because it ferments and gets the worms drunk and kills them. I wish I could remember what my wife was saying. She thought, she was starting to put stuff in, and a neighbor friend of ours who's the head of the horticulture department at the local college there in California. So no, don't do that. It'll kill the worms.
You're not supposed to give them 151.
Yeah, no. Besides that,
well,
there's some certain types of bread that will do that, and
Yeah.
will actually become an alcohol to them.
Yeah. All right. So Ron, where you mentioned about for the page 51, that was a video.
Yeah, I think it says page 51. It might say page 59 on my Green Wizard channel.
Okay. Let's shoot, I forgot to have it up there. Ding, ding, ding. Bad me.
Yeah, if he's going downhill, JFM.
Okay. Green. There we go. Boom. Back up. And I bet Kathy's going to beat me. Maybe, maybe not.
hey, small town.
There's the link to the Green Wizard channel. And
page 50, maybe.
I'm just trying to.
I think I've got two different prints of the book.
Here we go. Green Wizard guide information full.
Well,
playlist.
it's a weed killer. Let's just put it that way. It is a weed killer.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Page 51.
Yeah,
I've got the name of
I've got a
it.
different print.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and share this here. So this is on his channel, and so what I did is I clicked the playlist Green Wizard guide information, and then down here is page 51, potion 641, time of year. And nematodes. Oh yeah, there is so much good stuff in here, guys.
Sorry.
Okay. Everyone.
Sorry. A little distracting. I'm sorry.
It is time, everyone. After the live here, everyone go over to the Green Wizard channel and check out these videos and put some of them in your to watch list. These are
just listen. They're just audios, just like us talking now. There's no pictures needed. Just listen.
Oh man, I need pictures.
No, I'm sorry. No pictures. No crayons required. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Bobby, man? Maybe I could get with Bobby and borrow his coloring book.
Cecilia, if you hold on a second, we can talk to Gil, and he can pop up my my photo shoot that was actually done for the book, the author's photo shoot. He had popped it up earlier and scared the living daylights out of me. Hold on a second.
Oh, those ones I pulled off of the internet there?
Yeah.
All right, hang on a second here.
The headshot.
Yeah.
All right, let me go and put all these up here. So
right to the headshot.
Right to the headshot. The
up to there.
That one.
Yep.
So yeah.
I got all of it cut off a month ago or so. to give to Children for Cancer's Wig Society, where free wigs are made for kids with cancer.
And well, basically what I did is I Googled the Green Wizard's Guide, and then I clicked on images, and these are the images that came up. So, and of course, this is Bobby's little contribution.
Yeah. That's the garden he wants to have in his backyard, and some plants.
Oh, so
Well, so does Jerry too. He was growing his yard wild enough. It was getting tall enough. He was getting there. But I think his wife figured out the idea and decided he shouldn't have a garden back there.
So, so here's the he's got some good playlists here, live streams, several interviews and stuff, and then he's got the
constantly growing everyday stuff that keeps popping up.
Yeah, a bunch of shout outs from people on the book. So he's got some good stuff there.
Like the Texas radio show I did this morning on 11:60 a.m. Big D Talk Radio, that will be going up sometime today.
A Small Town. He was in here earlier. He said he was doing okay. He's doing a little bit better.
I missed Will.
Yeah, he was in and out. He might still be in the room.
Will, are you still in the house?
Planet Earth calling Mr. Will. Do you copy? Over.
Well, I know he's he did the we had the Monday night roundtable, and he's planning on doing it again coming up this next Monday, but he didn't do anything else this week. I think he's finally listening. I told him after the live, I go, Will, you need to get better. We don't want to lose you. Do just one live a week until you're back totally up and feeling good and all recovered. I'm not getting the circle to death. Anybody else getting the circle of death?
Nope, not on my end.
None of mine, and I have more than one.
Yeah, I got a couple going here. Neither of them have it either.
See, you're talking to a foreign nation here, and that nation doesn't like good, proper information being discussed to the people. So Miss Lori has.
Yep, you're on your own. I'm out.
I know. Here's the way you do it, Lori. What's his name? Trump. Untrudeau is screwing with your internet. There she goes. Small Town Preparedness. The Circle of Death actually kind of reminds me of an old Chuck Norris movie called The Octagon.
Great movie.
Yeah. But the other thing too, people check around in the community, in the homesteading communities and stuff. You may find some people like I did that raise a lot of rabbits and goats, and they got more manure than they know what to do with, and they want to get rid of it. And they'll be more than happy for you to come and get all you want. Like I said, I went down there yesterday with my son-in-law, and we were just wheelbarrow full. And then Guy, he called his grandson out, and he was, and all four of us wound up doing wheelbarrow fulls of rabbit manure and chicken manure, and just loading it into the trailer. Now I got to get my little tractor out there and start scooping it out of the trailer.
I guess you could say that was kind of a crappy experience.
A little bit.
Well, at least, to quote Guy, he goes, "Hey, this is some really good 2-year-old shit."
Oh, good. So it's aged. I was going to bring up that the chickens, that can be hot.
Yes.
You don't want to necessarily use that direct. Now, hot manures can also be used on roses. They can be used around your berry bushes and what have you. They will acidify the soil, and those berries will thrive on that.
Yep.
But you don't want that anywhere uphill from a garden downhill.
Right. Well, the thing is, I would say out of all the wheelbarrows we put in there, probably only 2 of the wheelbarrows was chicken manure, and it's spread through all the rabbit stuff, and it's getting mixed up and diluted, and it's and it's actually, the chicken manure has been there for a year. The rest of the rabbit stuff has been there for 2 years, so it's aged and it's good, and it's it smells good. It doesn't stink. It smells good.
Now, mind you, that's not comparing the aged stuff you get out of the silo, which is really good if you're careful. Only true farmers will understand when I say aged stuff out of a silo.
You get the liquid running off that silage in the silo, and do a little work to it, and then suddenly you have yourself some good drinking whiskey. So it's better to plant berry plants close to evergreens as they like acidity.
Yes. I mean, within reason. Don't put it directly underneath the pine tree and have all the needles falling on it. That's a little counterintuitive, but yeah, it causes the acids and the berries and the roses. They just thrive in that kind of atmosphere and pull up things out of the soil that they actually need.
Yeah. Well, that explains one of the problems we had here on the property here. We got one big, huge. I mean, we're talking, over almost 100-foot tall pine tree. It's monster.
Oof.
And yeah, it's big. And there's 2. Actually, let me throw that back up here.
Now, those roots could be issues for you.
Fish
All right.
had a question too, so you don't forget it.
Fish, what was the question?
And north-south wind is going to carry those pine needles.
Fish lows.
What if you don't have gravel for the base of your pot? Pea
I can tell
from the fish store will work too.
Yeah. Also,
Sand
from the Home Depot.
Any kind of porous materials. Broken clay pots. Are porous. They will hold water, because what happens is the food web will actually encompass the rock and hold moisture there and not allow it to dry out, and use that like a sponge, so that when the plant is requesting water, the food web will bring the water up from those rocks. So any kind of porous material as your base inside those planters will improve its ability to sustain water without causing a flooding condition. Just like with our tomatoes, especially in our soils today, as bad as they have gotten. Anytime we get a little bit of rain, all the tomatoes go and split. That's because everything's kind of out of balance. And when you bring everything back in balance, a little bit of rain doesn't affect a tomato, because the water has somewhere to go, and it brings in water. The plant requests it. The food web goes out, brings back the water as the plant actually needs it, not just because it's there and sitting in a puddle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the pine tree a couple years ago. It's huge. It's taller now, but this is like these bushes in front here. These are lilacs.
That's what you trim back.
That's what we're trimming back. There's these lilacs. There's wrong way.
Hey, at least your house smells good, because that stuff always smells good.
See, the lilacs all the way around here, and lilacs over here, and lilacs over here. I mean, this place has tons of lilacs around it that haven't been trimmed since 2003. But the lilacs are growing right up underneath the pine tree. But in the lilacs under the pine tree, we got briar rose, and it's just thriving under the pine tree. And we got some pine trees back over here on the backside over here, and the briar rose is thriving under the pine trees. So, yeah. Yeah, that's my that's it. Wrong button, wrong button, wrong button. There we go. Got all these different choices down here at the bottom. But yeah. But something else you can do for the gravel in your pots and stuff once you've drilled your holes in it and stuff. One of the things I've done, I've gotten some pieces of the weed blocker, put it in the bottom of the pot, and then I put the rock in so the rock doesn't go out the holes in case I have to move the pots around, and it keeps weeds from growing up from the bottom into the pots. Namely, the here our problem is morning glory. But yeah, you get the bag, all sorts of different sizes of bags at Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware. They got all sorts of different type of rock you can get.
I would think burlap sacks would also work as well.
Yeah. Let me see what else here I got down here.
In the established apple trees, you wouldn't have a problem. When you're going to be starting a new orchard, that would cause a problem because they're going to come in contact with the roots and they're going to be fighting for resources.
Yeah.
So you'll have some issues there. But like a crab apple or a cherry tree would thrive near a pine without too much trouble.
Yeah. The yeah, we're in the one area we're to the south of the where the house is sitting. We were putting in I'm putting in an orchard there. We've our apple trees are on the far south side, away from the pine trees. But we're putting in 25 trees over. We put in 6 last year. We're going to put in probably about another 10 this year, and another 10 next year. And we're going to be mixing them up with peaches, pears, nectarines, cherry trees. A mixture of fruit trees out there. So which trees would probably be the least affected by pine trees?
Just your berry trees.
All right. What do we got here? Yeah. Any other questions, folks?
Appropriate way to plant corn? It depends on your soils. God, there's so many different variables. You want the least amount of clay possible. You want as much organic matter as possible. You want, the deeper your soil is, the taller your corn stalks can grow. This idea that corn only grows 6 and 8 feet tall is ridiculous. They used to grow 10, 15, 16 feet tall with a lot more ears on them. And it's because of the soil conditions getting so bad. We've got to remineralize. We've got to open things back up. We've got to get rid of those clay beds, and they'll take off. Corn and this idea of crop rotation. Well, yeah, as we have less and less minerals available, of course we have to rotate. But when you get rid of the clay bed underneath and start opening that up, all of that clay turns back into topsoil and releases its minerals once again.
Okay, I'm just putting something in here real quick.
I'm probably not far from you. I'm just up in Cleveland.
Yeah, simple solution. Take 3 sticks of dynamite, put them inside a PVC pipe, shove PVC pipe down 20 feet in the ground. Light off dynamite. Fill hole in with nice, good, beautiful black dirt. Corn stalks now grow 22 feet tall.
Right. Fill with water, add fish.
Okay, just added that in there. I was just updating my I have a spreadsheet where I track some of the prepper channels and the homesteading channels where they're at. I'm just adding a couple more to Ohio here. So
Ohioans are suffering from the lack of air from Michigan because Michigan's sucking it all out of us. So,
yeah.
Oh, that's why Ohio hasn't fallen into the Ohio wiggle yet.
Don't do it.
Too late.
Yeah. Yeah. we got some really weird soil here. When I was digging the trench to put I had to dig it down 5 feet to put the water line in so it didn't freeze out to my hydrants. I had, I don't know what to call it, but then I had some clay stuff, about 6-8 inches of clay. And then I hit some cobblestones and riverbed stuff. And then I hit some stuff about that was probably about a foot thick, looked like volcanic ash. Then under that, I hit some really coarse black sand. I mean, it looked almost like iron oxide. And then I hit some gray sand.
Oh,
And then I hit more. Then I hit more cobbles down below that.
That sounds like glacier push.
Well, there,
You might be loaded with minerals down there.
Oh, it is, because the city I live in is called basalt or basalt.
Right.
Lava stuff. Oh, we got, half the foundation on this house here is big old blocks of basalt.
Hi, Tinker's wife.
Put together, like most, like some places use in New England they use the big river cobblestones and stuff to build the foundations. Here they use basalt to build the foundations.
Yeah, you just need to go to work on the clay and get that clay out of there.
Yeah, break it up, mix it up, and just.
Well, no, that's a misunderstanding. It will eventually fade away by itself.
Right.
You don't need to remove the clay. You need amendments, and you need things going into it. Aeration will help. Using the Epsom salt, the specific minerals in Epsom salt will soften the clay, allowing the roots to start breaking into it and start opening the clay back up and returning it back.
Yeah.
I like my idea, but stick dynamite clay, no problem.
All right. Well, when you do that outside your front door, make sure you film it for us when you put your trees in.
I won't, because this is government property.
Well, but you expect us to go do it. Well, come on now.
Yeah, I got government property I got to deal with. The boys will be at my door before I can even get the camera pulled out and hit play.
Yeah, he's got the bureaucracy looking down him. It's not HUD. What is it?
It is called Public.
Hey, Tinker's wife, welcome.
Public Housing One. Okay.
Yeah, it's run by HUD and the federal government.
Yeah.
So I walk outside and sneeze, and they've passed an ordinance for public housing that you can't sneeze outside your door. I just violated a federal law.
Yeah. The only plant we have around here has absolutely no problem with the clay. It's the morning glory, because it goes down. Its roots go down like 10, 15 feet.
Oh yeah.
Go over and comes back up again.
It will go even further. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, Tibor.
Hey, Tibor, what's going on, buddy?
All right, we got 4 people from Ohio here tonight.
We rule in this house.
We only have 2 from Canada, right?
At the moment, Howie has not made his appearance, neither has CR.
I think YouTube unsubscribed CR from me because he hasn't made it for the last couple of weeks.
No, he's just been very busy up there creating.
Field blindweed. Bindweed.
Royal pain in the butt.
Oh, morning glory. It's like a cockroach. You can't kill it. Yeah. Yeah, 2 things that'll survive a nuclear war: morning glory and cockroaches. And cockroaches is iffy.
Well, according to Mythbusters, cockroaches, some of them will survive, no problem.
Yeah. So we got 2 queens of the north here. Battle's going to begin since I said that.
Well, they need to figure out if they're going to use pistols, swords, javelins,
Or bottles of maple syrup.
No, let's not go there.
Now that would be funny to watch. I'd pay to see that.
Small That's all over. Yeah. Yeah, Tinker's wife. I'm over on the east side of Idaho, and it's bad here. But everyone around here tells me if so long as if I start turning the soil over with the disc, the bottom plow, and getting the alfalfa and clover planted, that in a year or two it'll choke it out. We'll have to see if that's true. Of course, this dry patch area out here needs a lot of nitrogen fixed back into it. So, guys, questions. Come on, somebody's got to have questions.
I have questions, but they do not pertain to this evening's topic.
Fishes the loaves.
Just. Oh, I'm in Ohio, Tibor.
Well, looks like this gravy train then got sidetracked.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I
The terrible webs we weave as adults. Too bad we can't go back to being children.
Oh, that's the other thing I need to throw up here for you guys. Where did I put it now? Oh, I remember where I put it. And all right, so open this one in a new window, and some good references here, courtesy of the man on the screen with me. Okay, I already did that one. Optimite. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ah, here it is. Boom, boom. Okay, that's that one. That's that one. I'm missing the other one. I got three things I want to show here.
Soil won't hurt anything. Nitrogen depleted, on the other hand, will. You want as much clover as you can get. One of the additives that we have in the book, that I have in the book, is corn gluten. Corn gluten, after spending 8 weeks outdoors, laying in your yard, laying in your gardens, and stops doing its principal job, which was to wipe out weed seed, turns into natural nitrogen. So you can force corn gluten down into your soils and replenish a lot of the nitrogen that you've lost.
Kathy, I can already answer that because he answered that on my live.
No soil testing.
Yep.
Waste of time. That's the NPK process sneaking in. Absolutely not. No. We've got to get away from that system. We've got to get away from the glyphosates, the oils, the oil-bound chemicals. We've got to stop using that stuff. The end result is phenomenal. Look at one of my videos, radishes. It's a 5-minute video, and see the size of the radishes I get in under 6 weeks. They're huge. They're supposed to be the size of a quarter, and these things are gigantic coming out of my soil. And it's because there's no chemicals. We've got to stop looking at everything going, are we within the NPK process? Are we where we need to be? Is my soil this? What do I need here? What do I need there? No, everything is in your soil already. The clay is stopping the food web from going out and bringing back what the plant is requesting. So what do? We throw a bunch of the NPK process on it, which is only 12 points in the system, and only 10 of those are actual nutrients for the plant that require over 70 to make the different flavors, to make the better stuff. By killing the food web, we've caused this problem. We need to bring the food web back in and amp things up and let the food web and let nature run its course. And your garden and the food production that you're going to get will blow your mind.
Some pests simple to get rid of. A little bit of Dawn dish soap mixed in water and one of the garden sprayers does wonders to get rid of many pests.
All right. Ron, when I was down here at Guy's house, he puts in his garden bags of diatomaceous earth. He sprinkles it on top to kill any of the bugs crawling around. and then he mixes it in. And I was just wondering what your thought on that was.
No, it's a waste. It's a waste of money. Basically, what it is you're buying needles that when these bugs go over and move around, it gets into their system and it kills them. Diatomaceous earth, it had its good points and it has its bad points. But the only reason you have bugs in your yard and in your garden is because your soils aren't healthy, your plants aren't healthy, and Mother Nature is sending in the troops to get rid of the sick and dying plants. When your yard is healthy, you have no bugs. When your garden is healthy, you have no bugs. It drives them all away. You don't need to be running to diatomaceous earth or sitting out there with a pellet gun or something along those lines trying to kill off each individual bug that pops up, because they won't come in. All plants have a natural defense against bugs when they're healthy. When they're on the NPK system and we're checking the soil contents and we're following that misguided system, then we're causing our problems. Then we're asking the bugs to come in and eat everything and wipe everything out. Get it healthy. Get back to nature. Stop listening to the system that they all of a sudden thought up when a bunch of chemists got involved and tried to sell you a bunch of chemicals. They don't work. The clayification is immense all over the planet. The system doesn't work. We don't need to keep buying chemicals and buying these oil-based products. They don't work. The Indians tried to tell us all of this natural stuff 200 years ago, 300 years ago. We didn't listen. We have forgotten. And since the 1960s, when they really started to push this Miracle-Gro and this and that and the other, oh, we'll get so much. Yes, at first it worked. The end result, though, has wiped out all of our soils and turned everything back into clay.
Yeah.
We have to go the opposite direction.
Here's a perfect analogy. Look at all those dum-dums that use steroids that are bodybuilders. The minute they stop using the steroid, what happens to them? They turn into 98 flesh-covered weaklings. That's what you're doing to your soil when you use Miracle-Gro. You're giving it a steroid, and the minute you stop using that steroid, there's nothing left in your soil to feed your plants because it sucks it right up.
Yeah. And that's an artificial type steroid. All right. Kathy at North Star says fish fertilizers. What's your thought on fish fertilizers?
Absolutely. Anything organic, anything once living and now dead, absolutely. Throw it in your garden, throw it in your compost. Get it out there and utilize it for what it's worth. It's going to expand the food web in ways you will not believe when it starts to break down. When you open up soil, it should be black. It should be moist, almost glued together with spider webs of something going all over the place. It's the microbes living in there. They're doing their job. That's the soil we all have. But because of this chasing the NPK, chasing the nitrogen, the potassium, and the phosphorus, and no, absolutely not. Stop thinking about it. Wash your yard and get back to nature. You don't have to remove anything. You have to bring everything else out that is already there and just make it readily available.
All right. In your book, you made a comment, anything living once dead, and then you also made a comical comment, except for zombies. You don't know how to deal with zombies.
Yeah, we're kind of dumb on it there because there's no mass upstairs. Like half the people roaming Florida right now, there's just no mass.
Well,
they want to party on the beaches. There's no mass.
I got the answer for dealing with zombies in your garden. You run them through the chipper shredder here, and you put it back into the soil.
That's a possibility.
I'm not talking about the little ones, like,
Yeah, it's going to be brain deficient. There's not going to be much mass there, but at least you're going to get some good bone meal out of it.
Yeah, I'm talking one like this one here, where you just pile them in there as fast as they come. Also works for certain political. No, we're not going to go there. Of course, they also don't have any brain mass either.
There you go, Big Dreams. Exactly. Exactly. And it turns out it was a Facebook post. One person on Facebook had the idea, oh my God, I'm going to get the runs. Need to go get toilet paper. And it exploded around the world and everybody rushed in and bought it all. One brain dead individual following social media without having all the correct information.
Yeah. So some other stuff here that to talk about, folks, for helping your soil get better. Azomite.
Minerals, absolutely. Bring them on.
Yeah. And so I actually found this stuff here close to me up in Idaho Falls. There's a distributor, and I can get the 40-pound or 44-pound bags for I think it's the same price here, the $21.
Awesome. Pour it on.
And then and then there's this one here, of course, your Bloomin' Minerals you mentioned before.
Yeah, that's mine, right. Now, this is a pre-compost. This is a mineral that was trapped in the glacier age where all of the plants were all of a sudden suffocated and packed underneath volcanic ash, and they turned to stone. So they had no chance of turning into the compost. So this is a pre-compost mineral that has got everything we need. We ourselves need those minerals to survive. The minerals in those bags belong in our bodies. You can eat that stuff. But when you apply that to your yard, when you apply that to your garden, and please, honestly, people, treat both exactly the same. However you treat your yard and surrounding your garden, treat your garden the same way. Don't just stop in your garden. The food web needs to be able to reach out and travel through all those areas around your yard, not just in your garden. So treat it all the same. And what you're going to find is as you get deeper and deeper soils, deeper and deeper topsoils, you have less and less need for minerals. The minerals are just an instantaneous blast on the top level to help you. You might need it 1 or 2 years. Past that point, as your soils begin to turn to topsoils and your clay goes away, all the minerals are released that are trapped in the clay and in the rocks that are below that. Everything will come back with the food web.
Yeah. All right, so the first link I threw in there was for the pink bag. The second link was Azomite, and Kathy wanted to know. Let's go back up here to it. Where was it? What does Azomite do? Is what she posted in there. I think you pretty much answered most of it. That was her question.
Yeah, I answered that.
Yeah, and then. Yeah, Fish's Loves was saying, so petrified compost. That's basically what that one mineral is. And then we have, all right, so this is the one on Amazon, and also has other sellers to get it from. This is the Gaia Green. Powdered bloom. I can't even pronounce that. The other mineral stuff from the guy in Canada that's having it made down here.
Yeah, the Gaia minerals. Yeah. Oh God, the glacier green rock dust that has got all the different principles in it, including bat guano, which is a tremendous nitrogen fixer. Oh, geez, does it make things pop? So yeah, if you're in areas where you've got a lot of bugs, just naturally because of a lake nearby or river nearby or what have you, put in bat boxes. There's a lot of manure coming out of that box that is going to be incredible in your gardens, in your flower beds, and in your yards.
Yeah. The only question I have about putting in bat boxes here in Idaho is because we get such cold winters and stuff.
They move.
They'll move.
They're migratory. They'll come
Okay.
back.
Okay. Okay, so Cecilia's saying, remember some of those out there on tight budgets need more ideas that don't cost so much.
They're in the book.
Yeah.
When you need minerals, there's a solution in the book.
Yeah.
There are many, many solutions in the book. A lot of things you're going to have right there in your own house. It's in the book.
Yeah. So if you have a Kindle, the big one, the small one, the older ones, the really old ones, somebody like my little one here, that $7.95. If you have, you can do it. Also, you can just buy it and look at it on your computer. You don't have to use the Kindles to read it. You can do it on the computer. It's really easy. Like I'm going to show you right now. I go to my accounts. I then go to your devices and content. Manage digital content. And guess what pops up? As it thinks.
Hitting the fan.
I was going to say the circle of death.
Yes, sir. All right, so here it is, Green Wizard's Guide. And so what I do, I go over here to the three dots. I click on it. Come on, let's go.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's being
Real good.
Okay, here we go. Now it's starting. Come on. Got a delay here. It's not doing it right now. You click on here. There it is. There's the choices. And it's all of them. Delete, mark as read, download, transfer to USB, go to furthest page. Or cleared furthest page. Read now. So I can just click read now. And guess what pops up on my computer?
Your sign in.
My sign in.
There's the password, everybody. Grab that.
Got it.
Yeah. 16 asterisks. And guess what? Here it is. It goes. It went to where I'm currently reading at. Ant sprays, magic soap potion. So I can you can read it on your computer and go and pick up everything out of the book without having to carry it around if you get the Kindle version. And then, of course, go ahead, Dave.
If you have issues with your Kindle and are unable to download content, Amazon does have a very good customer service walkthrough. And if you still can't figure it out, it may take a day or two for them to get back to you now, but they usually do get back to people. I used to have an old Kindle too that was really old. It was a very first generation Kindle Fire before Charles decided to brick it. But yeah, I had issues with it, and they finally called me back after like 3 days and was able to help me get it to where I could download current books and stuff. That was a couple of years ago. I'm sure it's pretty much the same. Just may take extra days now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to get it. I got it on Kindles that are like 10, 15 years old when we had some of the first Kindles. And I just download when I get important books like this. I put it to all my devices, including my wife's, because we have the family library connection.
Well,
that's what I said. But thanks to say it's only $7.99 for the Kindle version. And that way you put it everywhere.
Just don't use it for compost.
Yes. It's too important for compost. And I don't know if that would work or not. I have to check into that before I say anything about that. I may bring that up on a different live later on. But yeah, the stuff I've been reading in there is absolutely great. Talking about the minerals, no longer rotor tilling, going to the soil breaking. I love the stories in there, Ron, about your dad and granddad.
Oh yeah, they're
Fish and
all
Lo-
true.
Get with me on Discord later, and I will do my best to try and help you before you reach out. There is Justin Clement.
Hey, Will's back in the house. Hey, Will.
Mr. Will.
So, all right. So, guys, I've been, I was raised on a small family farm, and we had blackberries, we had corn, we had horses, cows, pigs, chickens, more chickens, banty chickens, Rhode Island Reds, goats, and I've learned so much more about what we should have been doing back then from this book. We would have had even much better food back then. It's just I just can't wait to get on this stuff. I mean, it's like I was out there today before the thing making taking 55-gallon barrels, turning them into pots and stuff, so I can start getting stuff immediately while I'm still trying to fix the ground around here.
Long. Thinking of farms brings back memories of feeding cows and standing up and putting the small of my back against a very hot wire. Yeah, bad memories.
Yeah, my dad put up a hot wire to keep when he was trying to expand the area for the goats and stuff. And of course, we were all 6 and 7 at the time, and we were used to running through that area. We didn't realize the hot wire was up, and we all go running through there. It's like, Zah! Ran into it across our chest. But yeah. Any other questions?
Well, it sounds
We've
like
hit a wall.
Crickets.
Yeah, I think we've hit a wall.
Yeah.
2 different live streams. We've covered your entire book. They should have all the information they need other than a few pieces of written documentation, and they should be able to fix their yard. And next year they're going to come back and say, I produced 200,000 pounds of food last year. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, there he is. There's Howie. The food forest way works. Mother Nature works.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of you getting the understanding. And that's what my book does. It gives you a better understanding of what's going on in your yards, in your soils, in your gardens, in your yards, and what's causing the different issues and how to address those in ways that are just common sense. You would never have thought of things you may have heard. I'm just reminding you of throughout the book. And I'm trying to do it in an entertaining way so that you can stay glued to the book and miss details and have to go back and read it again to find the details.
Yeah. I'm on my second time through it. All right. So Michael asked the question, are oak leaves okay to use in compost?
Yes. Yes, they're minerals.
Yeah. And there was Anthony at Palmetto Prepared was talking about certain things in compost that people say, oh, don't put that in there. If it's on the surface, he says that when it's on the surface under the pine trees, it does one thing, but when it's in the ground, it does something totally different.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff you'll hear that, oh, you can't put that in compost because it sours the ground. But when it's mixed in, it reacts totally different. It's like I'll give a little chemistry here. You take ammonia and you take bleach. How you mix them together in what format and at what amounts, you get totally different things. You can get chlorine gas or you can get hydrazine, rocket fuel.
Exactly.
Same chemicals, just mixed a little bit differently. Same thing with the compost stuff, the stuff the leaves and stuff. On the surface, it's one way. In the ground, it's something else.
Now, that's not to say you can mix the two and use them for home defense.
I can't. Crud. What did I do with the what did I do with the 65 gallons I have out here in the sprayer then?
You have
Well,
blowing when need to be used. You may instead of the enemy.
Uh,
Well, that's again, just like how he covers things on his website, or over on his channel, and he shows you a lot of examples. On my channel, the difference there is all of it is talking. I'm explaining things to you. I'm giving you different approaches and different ways of thinking about things and different answers to different problems that have been brought to me. And it's just audio. You just sit and listen, gather the information, add them to the book, and move on.
yeah. Fishes and Loaves. If you're having a tough time getting through it, I know my wife and I at night when we're getting ready to bed, we'll just read something for half an hour in bed. That's the perfect thing to read.
Yeah, but she also has a mild form of dyslexia, which is compounding it.
Mm.
So, you know what? That might be something somebody could do for her. Somebody that does have a copy of the book, just make it an audio file and get it to me, and I will make sure it gets to her.
Ron, have you thought about having the book done as an audio book?
It's too small.
Too small?
Amazon.
It would, yeah. The cost that I've put into this book already, and it would basically double what I've spent, if not more, to just do 114 pages.
Right. That's why I say if somebody out there is ambitious enough, or at least do it by chapter, and I will make sure that they get to her.
I have no chapters in this book. It's chapterless.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yes, I do.
It's headings.
Yeah, it's all bullet points. It's all just being able to find the information that you need.
Well, Ron, do you want me to bring Howie up here?
Sure, if he wants to come up, why not?
He said he was leaving.
He's leaving.
Yeah, Howie's biggest complaint about my book was that I didn't mention him. He gave it a 99.9% approval. That last little bit was because I didn't mention him in the book.
Well, shame on you.
Well, I didn't have his authorization at the time, just like I didn't have authorization for Bloomin' Minerals at the time.
Howie slipped out. Okay, he did. Dang it. Oh, well. If Howie's still glancing around, hopefully he sees it and decides to come back and come on up here.
Mother Nature has given us some incredible things, but we have to understand Mother Nature was here long before man was, and the system was working without the chemicals and without our help. When you start getting back to Mother Nature will help you in ways you can't imagine in your yard and in your gardens. It will blow your mind when you let things alone. And there's ways to stay weed free so that you never have to weed a garden. There's absolutely ways to do that. Follow Mother Nature's example. It's all laid out in the book.
I just noticed something. People must be listening to your books and to these live streams because that Gaia Green on Amazon, it used to have a price, and now it's available from other sellers. And I clicked on other sellers, and there's only one other one doing it. And I said it's the main one doing it. And the price is going up because it's disappearing fast. Supply and demand.
It's becoming in demand.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like Doc Bones and Samy's third edition of their survival medicine book. On their private, their private Facebook page. Somebody asked the question why they couldn't find it on Barnes and Noble or whatever it was. And I said that's because that's not where it's supposed to be listed. And I listed the proper link. And they posted back, well, it's $106 here. So just order from Doc Bones' personal website. If you guys are having issues finding it, reach out to somebody up here and we'll find you a proper link to get it for the right price. Don't be fooled by these people who are buying mass quantities and trying to resell it at a higher price.
Yeah.
And if you do find somebody selling something at a higher price than what it's supposed to be, first off, report it to Amazon. Second of all, contact one of us and we'll make sure it's forwarded to the correct people for that as well.
And yes, dandelions amongst all other weeds. See, we simply call them weeds because we just don't want them. They're not weeds. Most plants on the planet are edible in one form or another. They're still finding plants in the rainforest that have tremendous health benefits that we knew nothing about. So dandelion being a weed, a lot of people look at it and go, "Oh my God, it's a weed. I got to get rid of it." No, it's there for a reason. It's there to break up the clay. It's there to start changing the soils around. And yes, it is edible. It is absorbing minerals out of the soil that are very good for you. Dandelion tea, incredibly healthy for you. Dandelion salad, incredibly good for you. Even the roots of the dandelion are good for you.
Yeah, my son dandelions now. With all this talk he's heard about dandelions being good for you, we were walking to Walmart today. He says, "I don't want to step on the dandelions. I don't want to kill them."
The name David the Good doesn't ring a bell. And yeah, the book is on Amazon. I just found out that it is now being carried by Walmart online. You can find it there. And just Amazon alone has got links affiliated all over the world that the book is available on. I even understand it's in different languages now. It's past that threshold. It's now going out in different languages.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, maybe you'll get somebody approaching you for permission to put it on an audiobook at no cost to you, and just pay you a right,
The commission on it, or a little sales kick, that would be fine, because
Yeah.
I hold all the copyrights.
Yeah. And I'm saying if something starts going really big, I've heard of from several other authors where they get approached by companies to want to put it into an audiobook at no cost to them, and they will give them the copyright fee, charge per book, so much per book.
Yes, royalty is the proper terms.
Royalty, that's the one I'm looking for.
If I hadn't given my book away, I'd probably just go ahead and do it, but I don't have my book anymore.
And yeah, North Star, you're right. You're absolutely right. And that's what they're doing to the entire planet. You see a plane fly over and they're dumping chemicals, and you can smell it a mile away. It's bad if you can smell it a mile away. Can you imagine what's going on with just your neighbor spraying a few chemicals down in their yard near your garden?
Yeah.
And you're eating that.
Okay. He's survival. Okay. So that David the Good, I guess, is a survival gardener. His books are mostly for growing in the tropics, on composting and plant propagation. Oh, he does the audio for his own books.
Well, see, everybody keeps saying that my voice is so soothing to listen to when I read something. So maybe I should just do it. That's what I'll do. We get the stimulus check, Ron. I'll go ahead and buy it and rebuy it, and I'll do an audiobook for you.
Just amp up your volume.
Oh, I can go really loud if need be.
There you go. That's what we need.
Got a soundboard here. I can control that.
Okay, I just caught on what Kathy was talking about. Tibor misspelled dandelion the first time. Dandelion. But you should gather wild anywhere it's been sprayed with. Yeah, correct. Tibor, exactly. You want dandelions that have been grown in the wild, not in somebody's yard where they've been trying to kill it for years.
Or next to a major road.
Yeah.
Because when it rains, you get the oils and greases off that road splashed onto the ground where those are growing, which is why they're growing there, to suck all that crap up out of the ground. You don't want to be eating those in any way, shape, or form.
Well, that's the same difference with using sunflowers. You use sunflowers to clean your soils, to get the heavy metal toxins out. It neutralizes those. You want to throw the first year away, but grow sunflowers to clean and purify your soils and get the heavy metals out. The stuff that's toxic to us can be removed by just growing sunflowers wild. It's incredible what Mother Nature's given us. We've just all looked the other way and forgotten it. We're all looking for the instantaneous push button. I've got the instant answer. And in Mother Nature, it's already there. We're the ones that messed it up.
Okay, just to recap some stuff. Epsom salt is good for
Clay.
breaking down clay. And then the azurite.
A temporary amendment, 1 or 2 years.
And the same thing with the Bloomin' Minerals. The pink
Bloomin'
bag.
Minerals you could use continually because it is pre-compost. Those that can't have compost for smell reasons, ordinance reasons, what have you, this is the perfect composting type amendment that gives you everything you need.
And this is what he's talking about right here. So I'll throw that link back down there again. And this is, all right. And then, of course, in the Gaia Green.
And that again, that's another 1 and 2 year amendment. As your soils open up, they start to bring back the minerals that are already there and in abundance that are trapped in the clay bed.
Oh, something I asked you on one of the other lives about, and just in case anybody out here is thinking about it, the mineral blocks they have for livestock.
No. I mean, if you can get it in a broken down form and be sure that its actual mineral contents don't contain any sodium, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, because they
You
have
have to avoid sodium at all costs.
Yeah.
And it's not good for anything. It makes everything rust. It tears everything apart.
Yeah.
The mineral block that they feed animals is not the one we're looking for.
Okay. Yeah, because I know there's 3 different types of the mineral blocks. Quote mineral blocks. One is just plain salt block, a salt lick.
Right.
The other one is a plain mineral, and then there's the mineral with medications in it. And I know that's the one. Definitely do not want that one. What we got here?
North Star, your food web is struggling. It's not maintaining itself. Once that starts to maintain itself, and what I would recommend there is deer grade molasses in a hose end sprayer, and start feeding the food web the sugar that it's looking for.
And no, he doesn't mean giving it sugar cookies or pumpkin bread or nothing like that, Captain.
No.
Give it the right
Don't
sugar.
give it Jolly Ranchers. That's not what we're talking about.
And then you can't use the gummy worms like you do using for fishing.
No.
I'll tell you what, you need to catch fish, use gummy worms. You will catch some of the biggest fish you've ever caught using a gummy worm. They are excellent fish bait.
Yeah, but then they end up with bad teeth.
I don't care. If I'm catching fish,
If we're catching fish, their teeth ain't going to have a time to get bad. All righty. Well, we've hit the 90-minute mark, folks. Any last-minute questions, comments?
Help the lawn.
Oh,
Help.
maybe.
It is a natural nitrogen builder. If you think you have a clover problem and you wish to get rid of the clovers, add coffee grounds, dried, filtered, and I mean truly filtered down to the point that nothing else is coming out of the coffee grounds, and put that down in those clover beds, and it will assist the soil in breaking down nitrogen, and the clover will naturally go away and the grass will move back in. I use it in compost. I use it in my gardens. I use it everywhere. You can't get enough nitrogen.
Hey, Tibor, I'm not giving fish bazooka. No. That is nasty when it gets into your hair. You ever try to pull one out of a fish and it slip and smacks you in the face? Yeah, you get that gum in your hair, it just doesn't come out unless you got a jar of peanut butter handy.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my peanut butter.
All right.
That's
Okay. So we got that there. I know there was one back here. Okay, yeah. Meg Barker says first growth dandelions are tender and don't have thorns. Once they produce the first blooms, gather up the seeds and rip them up for compost. I guess they start getting thorny and stuff on their leaves and stuff for the dandelions.
Right. But remember, it is there for a reason. Mother Nature talks to us constantly through the weeds that we have in our yards. And when you allow, like the dandelion, one of the strongest, deepest running roots out there, when you allow it to run its course, it's going to help break up the clay bed underneath. That's its purpose. That's one of the reasons it's there. So necessarily, just because you've got it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing or that it's the nasty weed. It's actually there for a reason. Mother Nature, and you change the soil conditions as time progresses, and you start knocking out weed seed and what have you. Your soil conditions improve, and naturally weeds no longer populate because the soil conditions changed. That's the only reason a weed seed actually germinates, is because there's something wrong and the seed is called into action to fix the problem. We've got to get off the NPK system and go the opposite direction, and it will solve our weed problem. It works both hand in hand. When the soil conditions improve, weeds go away. When the soil conditions get bad, weeds come in gangbusters to try and fix it.
All right.
Creeping grass, Charlie grass.
Throw that up there. Never heard of Charlie grass or creeping Charlie.
The only thing I heard
both grasses. Creeping Charlie, once it gets established, boy, it's tough to get rid of. It just takes over. It's pretty to look at, but yeah, it's a problem child.
Kind of like my child.
And then Michael asked a question. I have spots of moss in my yard. Is that good or bad?
Again, that's a sign that there is a clay issue in your yard. As the roots begin to rise in your yard, it's not actually rising. It's actually the soil conditions compressing and becoming more clay. When's the last time, and I know women claim it all the time, but when's the last time you saw a tree walk in front of a car? Trees do not just get up and walk around. As much as women may claim the tree jumped in my way, that's not the case.
Come on.
We have to address the underlying issue. Moss is just a sign that there are roots decaying very close to the surface. We've got to switch that back and go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Here in Ohio, trees run in front of cars all the time. Have you not read the state police reports?
Oh my God! We've got that friend of ours, Bobby. He swears up and down that every time he goes to town, the parked cars jump in front of him when he's drunk. So I mean, a tree moving, sure, why not?
Message on Discord. He has not responded yet.
And I always thought it was the teenagers that the trees jumped out in front of.
Read the state police reports for most states. You'll see that 90% of trees jumping out are caused by either drunks or female drivers. And don't take me wrong, ladies. I'm not saying that anybody in here would ever use that excuse, but there are a lot. About 48% of trees jumping out is in front of women. The rest are just plain drunks or people who are high.
Well, hey, now we've all had our misadventures and we've all had fun. I was on a motorcycle parked in the guy's front yard waiting for a stop sign to change to green. We've all been there. But the trees don't get up and walk around. The roots do not rise to the surface. The clay, the soils compress and become clay, and the soil is actually receding. So it's just one of those things. You're facing a different problem. You've got to start addressing the clay underneath, and just get out there with Epsom salt. Slowly start adding it. You cannot overdo Epsom salt in your yard. There's no salt in it. It's not going to hurt anything. I wouldn't put big mounds of it down, but throwing handfuls around every time you cut the grass is just going to start subsiding the clay underneath, making it softer, allowing root penetration and allowing the food web to expand.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Nice cover. Nice cover.
Okay. So hydrants jump in front of teens, trees jump in front of men, deer run in front of women.
I don't know. The last few deers that I seen jump in front of me while I was driving a truck didn't have a chance to land. I'll put it that way.
And most women's guardian angels work overtime. We understand.
I wasn't going to say that one.
Well, I did.
And later on next week, I will be moving to my new bunker in the middle of nowhere, so you guys can't find me anymore.
Yeah. All righty.
My cat is up to no good. It is stalking my child.
I'm serious. Women coming crying because they hit a deer.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. My mom's ex-boyfriend was one of the top-rated body shop mechanics up in the middle of Michigan, and at least twice a week, some lady would come in with her vehicle on the back of a tow truck, and the entire front of it would be completely destroyed, and she'd be in there crying. And while I take nothing away from person's emotional status, some of them were just out there.
You had a dog that was going 65 miles an hour. What was it? A greyhound? Sorry.
Yeah, hit a doe. Okay. Yeah. Cars these days can't hit deer anymore.
No, you get a good old-fashioned Buick or Oldsmobile Delta 98. You can run into a deer, a moose, and a tank and still keep driving that dang car.
Yeah. Or an old Studebaker.
Well, an old Studebaker, you just put an M100 on the top of it.
Ooh, North Star, you all right? I clean up a lot of deer for my city. I get a lot of deer meat that way. And they never give me the statistics. They don't say it was a man or a woman or a kid or whatever. Just, hey, a deer's down. We need your help.
Yeah, about 3 years ago, we had a lady. She couldn't have been much more than 19 years old. Had a brand new baby. She'd been out of the hospital maybe 2 weeks, was driving down the road next to my place. She nailed the deer. She was completely broken. The baby was giggling, so I don't know what her problem was. Anyway, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. The police actually had to come out and shoot it because it was laying in the ditch, kicking. And
well, a lot of departments, because of the amount of them that we're getting, a lot of departments are now making it the driver's responsibility to deal with the deer and to get it removed from the side of the street, or they get ticketed. They don't fault them, but it's still an issue where they want that deer removed.
I told the officers that, hey, if I could have saved you a trip out here. He says, hi, how? I said, all you guys would have had to do is call me. I'd have come out and dispatched it. I got
absolutely dispatch it.
I got a nice line
tag it, and bring it home. Absolutely.
Ooh, Kathy.
Ooh, that's even worse. Oh, geez, North Star.
Okay, Kathy, I bow. I quit. I stop.
Yeah, as far as what Big Dream said there, I've heard several states are changing the law, allowing that if they hit a deer or elk or other wild game that is normally they'd have to get a tag for, that once the police respond, if they want, they can take it home, or they have to, if they they have to notify the game department saying, hey, this is the police report, and they can take it home legally.
Some departments don't even issue a police report. They just, unless your car is damaged to the point of being undrivable.
Yeah.
I know of one jurisdiction down south that I was in that if you hit a deer, you take a picture of it, you call the sheriff's department, tell them what happened. You have to submit a picture to them via email, and there's no tags required. They just tell you to clean it up. Don't leave it in the road.
But Tibor brings up a very good point for certain areas. in certain areas, the deer have that wasting disease.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can tell. You can look at a deer and tell there's issues.
Yeah.
And it's certain times of year too. I mean, certain times of year you don't want to be taking deer. I mean,
Yeah.
There's issues.
Yeah. Alrighty. I think we've wrapped this up. Any more questions for Ron on gardening? All right, guys. His book has so much more information he talks about here. He has some, he lines things out about his progress from being the yard killer to being the green wizard. And there's some really interesting stuff in there, and it's eye-opening. And like I said, I'm going through it the second time now, so it's well worth the $7.50 if you get it on the Kindle, the $13.95 if you get it on the paperback. It's a great book to have. Any more questions? Nope.
Well, thank you for having me up, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate you having me on board. Anytime you need me, anyone needs me, feel free to email me. Let me know. I'll come to any channel anytime, and let's talk about what's going on with Mother Nature.
Cool.
Don't run away. Talk to you before we all separate. So
Yeah.
don't run away.
All righty. You guys have a great night. We'll see you, everybody. Thanks for your time.
All right. So Ron, Dave wants to talk to you after I kill it here.
Oh,
So
all
we'll
right.
we'll stay on here. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and let me throw the other thing back up here for an ending shot here. So get the right one up here, and there we go. That, and we'll throw this up. All right, everyone. Let me get rid of that. There we go. It's been fun, and we'll see you next week.